Hey YouTube, so I'm driving the 04 Subaru. I got better lighting now. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an overview. So I have to admit, this Subaru definitely, even though it's the same car, it feels a lot different than the 03. Best way to describe it is this one's an automatic, the other one's a manual. This one's also a lot faster. And as you can see, the torque converter lockup on this is extraordinarily aggressive. The car itself has plenty of power. It definitely has pickup and go. I noticed that the H6, it tends to overdrive or try to get into overdrive extraordinarily quickly. So with that, it actually does save fuel, but at the same time, it's not the best on fuel due to the fact that this car is an H6. Now this is the LL Bean edition, so it's actually a good edition. It's pretty luxurious for an 04. It does have heated seats. It also does have a few other features. The radio in here is not the original radio, but it does have Bluetooth, so it's a nice add-on and it kind of modernizes the car a little bit. One thing that's new for 04 is where you can see that little speaker is. That's actually new for the 04 Subaru. The 03 did not have that. It's actually kind of like the concept of the Toyota Camry. The 99 Camrys actually got those little speakers on the A-pillar, and it wasn't present on the 97 and 98. Now one thing you do notice is the RPMs on this car, when resting on the highway, it runs a lot lower than that of the manual transmission. It's actually significant to the point where when you're doing 70, it's at about 2,500 RPMs versus on the 03, if I'm not mistaken, it's around 3,100. Does it hurt the engine? No, but at the same time, it does cause, it could cause a little bit more engine wear due to the fact that the RPMs do rest higher, but it also does allow for engine braking. So basically, you use the engine to slow yourself down versus having to hit the brakes a little bit more. Now, the rotors on this Subaru are possibly in need of a replacement. It does tend to shudder a little bit when you try to stop. The brakes are also a little bit mushy. Going up a hill, this engine may need new spark plugs due to the fact that it does kind of shudder a little bit going up hills, but it's not bad in any means, nor is it uncomfortable. It's just, it could shake depending on how steep your hill is and how long you're climbing. The car does need a tune-up. The interior of this car does need a little bit of reupholstering on the left driver's seat as well as the driver's door panel, but it's not significant to the point where it's going to cause anybody pain. I mean, it's a car. It's getting you from point A to point B, and I'll tell you this is a definite booster from the Hyundai Accent. Trust me, girlfriend definitely agrees. Another thing to basically mention is the car tries to get into overdrive very, very, very quickly. It is in fourth gear, probably about 25 miles an hour, and the torque converter will lock up around 30. So it is a very quick transmission. It's actually very nice. It's very firm. Although it does have a slight delay going from reverse to drive. I'm not sure why that is, but it's not significant. But I think in cold weather, if I'm not mistaken, when you go from reverse to drive, you have to kind of hold the brake a little bit until you actually start to get going. It has to let the transmission engage fully. That could be due to a filter thing, so we probably are just going to do a transmission service on it because the rest of the time it shifts great. This is a very good Subaru. Subarus are known to be reliable besides the fact that they did have head gasket problems, but I think if you take care of them, they'll be alright. Most of them were updated. Just watch for radiator leaks and you should be okay. Definitely corners quite nicely for a station wagon. It's definitely very smooth. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a lot smoother than the 03. The 03 I think was built more for a sporty feel versus this one. It was built for a more luxurious and slightly relaxed feel. It feels very elegant to drive, if that makes sense. Everything's a little bit mushy. The suspension on it is a little bit mushy. It's not as bad as the Impala by any means. The Impala is just the worst. But it's definitely a little bit more of a mushy suspension and mushy brakes. It actually kind of caught me and my girlfriend off guard because the brakes are a lot less sensitive than we had imagined. So definitely just a little bit of an add-on. It was kind of weird, but at the same time it wasn't too shabby. But otherwise it does accelerate quite nicely. I'm resting in fourth gear. The torque converter is unlocked because I am going uphill. But as you can see, take my foot off a little bit and it's a very aggressive lockup and it's very firm. So it's actually very comfortable. The gas mileage on this Subaru is not exactly the best, I will admit, but I think after a tune-up, it probably will get a little bit better. We're also going to get the tires checked to make sure that there are no cracks and basically they're inflated to proper pressures and are balanced. So if anybody does have any questions, let me know. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a city drive eventually to show you guys a little bit more how the transmission does shift. But basically, it's just a very aggressive shift. Like, you can't really pass 3,000 RPMs without it trying to get into overdrive. So it's good. So if you guys do have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to go ahead and log out, and you guys have a good one. See you later.